Hi students, this is Mr. Yao. Today we're going to talk about 1.5, where we will review about graphing linear equations. Whenever we need to talk about linear equations, we're going to have to start with slope. So what is slope? It is a ratio of the change in y coordinates to the change in x coordinates. And we refer to the change in y coordinates as rise, and the change in x coordinates as run. A slope describes how steep a straight line is. We could also say it as rate of change. And here's the slope formula. It's the change in y compared to the change in x, and that's how we form the ratio. We also see it as rise over run. Here's the formula when we are actually just given some points. It's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. As you can see, the coordinates from the same point come to the front, and then the coordinates from the other point is on the back. Here are some examples of how to find the slope. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And if you're like, wait, there are 4 different numbers, I don't know which one is which. Whenever you see 2 points, you can always start labeling them. That's x1, y1, x2, y2. Now we just need to put it inside the formula. y2 is 4 and y1 is 2. I do want to emphasize, no matter what kind of number we get, the middle needs to be a negative sign. Same thing with the bottom, negative sign stays there. Numbers for the x, x2 is 3 and x1 is 1. As you can see, the front come from the same point. That's going to give us 2 over 2, which is example 2. Again, when we form the ratio, no matter what, the negative sign is going to stay in the middle. Now we just need our y2 minus y1. y2 is 1, y1 is negative 2. You see, the negative sign has nothing to do with the negative sign inside the number. Bottom, negative 4 minus negative 1. Now we just need to actually simplify it. They both become positive, so it's a 3 on the top. They both become positive, so it's a negative 3 on the bottom. That simplifies to be a negative 1. Now example 3. Same thing. Set it up, a negative sign in the middle. And then we have x1, y1, then x2, y2. This is y2 minus y1, so negative 2 minus negative 5. x2 minus x1 is negative 5 minus negative 2. Since we have 2 negative signs become positive, the top is going to be a positive 3, and the bottom is going to be a negative 3, simplifies to be negative 1. And that's how we find slope from 2 different points. Next, type of slopes. Do you remember this dude on the right? Well, right here, slope dude. If you don't remember, you can look up the video called Slope Dude. Basically, this dude is gonna go skiing, and he's skiing from the left side to the right side. When he's going uphill, he says puff, puff, positive, which tells you it's a positive slope. When he skis downhill, he says nice, negative, so it's a negative slope. When it's horizontal, well, he needs a lot of work, but he's still not quite going. That's 0 fun. And lastly, when he hit a cliff, well, unfortunately, he kind of dropped. So he screams the word undefined. So a horizontal, well, that kind of tells you the trend. If it's positive slope, it's going to go up right. If it's negative, it's going to go down right. If it's 0 slope, then it's going to be a flat line. And if it's undefined slope, then it's going to go vertical. So an undefined slope is a vertical line, and it's x equals 3. The reason it's x equals 3 is because an undefined slope looks like this and is only crossing the x-axis. That's why it's x equals. As for a 0 slope, that's a horizontal line, and it's going to be a line like this, and it's crossing the y-axis. That's why it's y equals. Be clear about that. Next, let's find some slopes. When we try to find slopes, there are two things we emphasize on. One, left to right. Just like how you write things down nowadays, we write from left to right. So when we actually try to find slope, we also start from the point on the left. Then the other thing we emphasize on is, just like when you're sitting inside a classroom and there's a fire drill, you cannot exactly just start running right away. You're going to be stuck in the table. You're going to need to carry the desk with you. So you're going to need to stand up first, so rise, and then run. Which is why, starting from the point on the left, we're going to need to go vertical first. So we're going to go up 4, and then go to the right by 3. That will give us 4 over 3 as the slope. As for example 5, we're going to need to find our own points. Let's say these are the 2 points we found. We are going to need to go down by 1, so -1 first, then go to the right by 2, so a 2. And that is -1 over 2. Number 6, go down -4, and go to the right by 1, so -4 over 1 simplifies to be -4. And please be consistent with these, because when we try to graph our own lines, we are going to do the same thing, rise first and then run. That's how we generate more points. And if you actually choose it backward here, you might actually get confused when you need to draw your own line. So now let's review how to draw our own line. Here the process. Slope-intercept form of the linear equation is y equals mx plus b, and we always start from that form because that form is the easiest to graph. M represents the slope and y-intercept is the b. Our first step is always to identify the y-intercept, which is the b, because that would typically give us a point on the y-axis. Second step, we are going to find the slope. The slope is the number in front of the x. So we are going to find a slope, and slope are typically given as fraction. If it's not, you can just put it over 1, so you can make a fraction. After you have the y-intercept and the slope, you can generate more points. Then lastly, you just connect all the points into a straight line. Now let's actually see how that's worked in examples. Example 7. -5 is the y-intercept, so I start -1, -2, -3, -4, -5 right there. I have 1 point. Next, the slope is 2 over 3. Rise is the 2. I'm going to go up 2, and the run is the 3. So I'm going to go right 3. You see, here you have to rise first because that's how the slope is given. So rise 2 and then run by 3. Now you have these lines. I can actually start putting it as a line. And I'm done. That's example 7. Number 8. This time our y-intercept is just a 3 on the end. However, the slope is a -2. -2, and we want it to be a fraction, so we can do rise over run. That's got to be rise over run. So -2 is the rise, which actually means it's going down. So go down 2, and the run is the 1. So rise on the top, and run is on the bottom. And since the positive 1, we're going to go to the right by 1. And we're going to do it again, down 2, and then we're going to go to the right by 1. So down 2 over 1. We have generated more points. We can start connecting them into a line now. That's basically how it is. That's example 8. Example 9. For that one, well, the slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. I don't even see any x. That means that could just be 0x minus 2. So our intercept is -2. Our slope is 0. You can put it as over 1, 0 over 1. And in this case, since it's 0 for the rise, that means there's no going up or down. So basically there's only run, and it's run as 1, so another point, run as 1, another point, run as 1, another point. And that's why our line is a horizontal line. Or if you just remembered, oh, there's only y, so that means it's going to only cross the y-axis, and it's crossing the y-axis at -2, so you can have your line. That's number 9. Number 10. Y-intercept is -4, so we have our first point at -4. The slope is -1 over 2, or you can treat it as -2 over 1. Either way, but only one of the, sorry, not negative. You can treat it as 1 over -2. Either way, the negative sign can only belong to one of the numbers. So if, let's say, it's -1 over 2, -1 is going down 1, then to the right 2. Going down 1, then go to the right 2. Down 1, right 2. You have these points. And let's say you choose to do the other way, 1 over -2. Well, 1 is up 1, -2 is left 2. Up 1, left 2. Up 1, left 2. You can see these points are exactly on the same line. So it does not quite matter as long as only one of the numbers get the negative sign. That's example 10. Example 11. This time, as you may see, it's not exactly in y equals mx plus b form, but we have learned in 1.4b about how to change out the forms into slope-intercept form. We just need to get y by itself and have x in the front. Since there's no parentheses in the form, we're going to distribute first. Y minus 6 equals -3x minus 6. Then we're going to add 6 on both sides. So we got y equals -3x. As you can see, there's no number there, so that's got to be a 0, which is why your intercept is going to be 0. And your slope, -3 over 1. So down 3 over 1, down 3 over 1, down 3 over 1, I actually have more points. Right there. That's example 11. Next, example 12. So this time again, y is not quite by itself yet. So I need to get rid of the -1/4. That could be treated as -1, 1 over -4. So in order to get rid of that, I can multiply everything by -4. I will get, so that is gone, y equals -1 times -4 is a +4, and -7 over 8 times -4, or -4 over 1, that's going to be a +7 over 2x. I can put x in the front, y equals 7 over 2x plus 4. So when we try to draw the graph, that's a 4, and it's at 0, 4, 7 over 2 as our slope. I can choose to go up 7 or over 2, or I can go backwards. That will get me a point right there. And I can graph it. That's example 12. Last one, example 13. Again, I'm solving for y, so I'm going to subtract 2x on both sides. So I got 4y equals -2x minus 12. I'm going to graph everything by 4, divide everything by 4. I'm going to get y equals -2x over 4 is -1/2 x, and -12 over 4 is -3. So my intercept is at -3. As for the slope, that's -1 over 2. So down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. I can actually generate my line right there. That's example 13. And that is everything for 1.5. Thank you.